Hi, this is David Bromberg with VuWall. I'm one of the business development directors here in the United States. I'm also here with Nick Mathis, my counterpart, covering the U.S. from border to border. So it's really interesting to see the evolution of the Security Operations Center. Originally it started off perhaps as a company's growing and evolving as a single workstation, a user desk with a chair, maybe a monitor managing a few different camera inputs. As a company grows, the system needs to grow with them, so it needs to scale appropriately. The Operations Center these days is monitoring access control, it's monitoring cameras, not just in the local facility on site, but it could be multiple facilities across the city, across the country, across the globe. So in order to adapt to that, we need to come to the market with solutions that allow that evolution to take place. We do that exceptionally well with our PAC TRX solution. We can scale from a single user space all the way up to an entire control room security operations center with multiple users. And if additional walls are needed or additional displays are needed throughout the facility, we can support that as well.
Yeah, I was at a client site a few weeks ago just with one of our demo kits. We like to visit customers and see how things would work in their facility. And we were at this site where we just brought a single PAC node and one of our mini servers, just two little mini computer type devices. Setting stuff up, connected it to a couple displays in their office, connected it to their network, and using our Genetec integration, we logged into their Genetec account, and instantly there were 3,000 cameras available as sources. So the power of IP in these spaces, as people have other systems they want to leverage, or as systems grow, our ability to capture all of that and to show them everything that they want to look at is exceptional, I think.
I think you're right.
I think Dave hit on something cool with what you were saying about how companies evolve. Last year at the show, I was talking with three guys from California that called themselves a mini Kaiser, where they're a small healthcare company and they have 20 cameras they're monitoring right now on a single 4K TV. But they had plans to have a 2x2 video wall and 200 cameras within 2 months, and they were growing from there, right? So we want to give them the right tools behind that single display so that as they grow, they have a sustainable platform to continue to build their system from there.
That's a really good point. A lot of customers come to us and the concern is the cost of the system. And once the system is deployed, what does the ongoing cost look like? Are there licenses and things of that sort? Again, if you look at VuWall, at the core, we're a software company. We happen to have some hardware products that the software needs to reside on in order for a system to operate effectively and efficiently. But we reduce those costs by offering perpetual licenses. So they buy the license once and it's good for the entire lifetime of the system. So when we approach the market, it's really with not only the end user in mind, but what does that experience look like? Especially for a security operations center. Most security operations centers start off relatively small and grow as the company grows. Again, going back to the comment on evolution that I made earlier, we want to grow with the evolution of those SOCs, of the security operations centers, and make sure that we have solutions that scale appropriately.
Yeah, as these systems grow, also this is a market where people want to maintain their systems themselves. In security operations, they can't afford to schedule a service visit for a technician to come 2 weeks later to work on a system where something's going wrong. If they've got a big computer with a bunch of cards in it, like old-fashioned video wall processors used to be, and one of those cards snaps in half, they're toast for a long time. These people can't afford those sorts of delays. It's not an experiential lobby display, right? This is important stuff that these people are doing. We've seen high value in people being able to service their systems themselves, whether that's keeping a spare IP node on a shelf and being able to swap it out in a few minutes if something goes wrong, or whether that's adding new sources to their system, updating dashboards, adding new cameras, or changing touch panels to add new buttons or presets if operators change or situations change. All of that's traditionally been a load on the integrator or service team to come and do at an expense later is something that end users expect to be able to do now.
That's a really good point. If we talk about mission critical spaces like a security operations center, downtime is unacceptable. It just can't happen. If a wall were to go down in a SOC, in a security operations center, you can imagine the impact or potential impact on the facility and on the people working at that facility. Our systems are designed that if anything were to happen with any of the nodes that happen to be on the system, it only takes a portion of the wall down with it momentarily.
Yeah.
These are stripped down Linux devices. They can bring that portion of the wall back up within 2 to 3 minutes. The rest of the wall stays up and running. The security operators are able to do the work they need to do to make sure that their systems are maintained and that their facilities are secure.
Yeah, absolutely. In the past, video wall processors were big boxes with input cards and output cards, and that was the case with analog video when things were garden hose, SDI, VGA, all of these analog video signals, and then into digital video with DVI, HDMI, DisplayPort, because that was the only way that we could accomplish these systems, right? You needed to gather everything together into the same bubble to be able to put it on the same wall in different sorts of layouts. And that worked well while it was the best way to do that. And that's no longer the case with IP. Now all of this video is already on a network, and we don't need a big box with input cards and output cards. And that's wonderful because those boxes are profoundly expensive, and there's a lot that can go wrong in those boxes. While that has been the way that it's worked, it's no longer the case, and that's great for small to medium companies that don't have the budget to buy one of those. Those processors can be well over $100,000, and so if you have a couple displays and a dozen streams that you're monitoring, you don't want to spend that money now, but if you know you're going to grow, you're in a tight spot. So being able to build an infrastructure over these IP nodes that grow with you as your business grows is a very powerful capability in small to medium security operations.
Absolutely. In fact, if you take a look at some of these large matrix switchers, to Nick's point, it's a single point of failure. And if something were to go down in an operations center that takes down the matrix switch, the entire wall goes down. And it could be hours, days before it comes back up. So going with a node-based solution makes a lot more sense, and that's why companies are migrating away from the large matrix switchers into an AV over IP solution, and we thought lead in that space.
Yeah, certainly. And it doesn't even need to be something that goes down. It can be a Windows update. That's a terrible thing to happen in an IT or AV space is Windows Update. Like that's, people shudder when they think about their stuff updating without them controlling what's going on, because all of a sudden, they go into a room and it's not how they left it. Video's somewhere else, it doesn't recognize displays, things are going wrong. So to have a non-Windows system that is small node-based that can grow with them, that doesn't have that single point of failure is a dream solution. It's fantastic to talk about with people.